Hello, welcome to Indie Tutorials. My name is Guillermo and I would like to thank the Patreon supporting this channel. Okay, so now that we know that the game builds, I would like to make a few changes in the Helen character. So if we go into the tutorial assets, 3D Game Kit, Characters, Helen, Models, select the Helen model, and from here we are going to the animation tab and you'll see, the rig tab, and you'll see that the animation tab is set to generic. So we want to change this to humanoid in order to be able to retarget some of their animation clips. So switch from generic to humanoid and click apply. Then let's go to the animation clips folder, select all of them, and again here from the animation type change to humanoid, and then from the source, since we have copy from other avatar, select to the window selector here and then select the Helen avatar and click apply. Before leaving the selection of all the elements here, or all the animation clips, switch back to the model tab and let's tick and untick the import light, import cameras, import visibility, import blend shapes. So keep it unticked. Then in the optimize mesh we keep nothing, and in the normals import, let's click on none and click apply. Lastly, let's select the Helen combo alone and go to the animation tab, scroll down, and where it says root transformation root based upon body orientation, select original and click apply. These changes can be only done per animation, that's why we need to do it on each one. So Helen combo, the next one, change to original, apply. Helen combo 3, original, apply. Helen combo 4, original, apply. Now let's give it a try to see if it still works as expected. So let's click on the scene and click play. So we're still running using now humanoid rig. We can roll and we can attack using the combo, and the body orientation is not changing. So perfect. Stop play mode and let's start importing our assets from the old project. Okay, so behind the scenes I already started creating the folder structure similarly that we had in the previous project, which is basically underscore games, so it will be always on the top. And then inside I created an animation folder, fonts folder to store the fonts, materials, 3D models, our scenes, scripts, shader, textures. And what I'm doing, the way I'm doing it is, for example, let's select here the texture folders. So I open the old project and I'm just dragging and dropping the assets here, including the meta files. Okay, at least for the assets like textures, sprites, fonts, 3D models, prefabs, and everything else, they need to be reconstructed because they are not compatible anymore with the new ORK framework. So at least, for example, we have these two textures imported right away, and since we imported the meta files, the settings are the same that we have before, which is ideal. I already imported some models that I'm going to be using from Ready Player Me webpage. So these are to replace the ones from Square Enix, so I will be able to actually build the game and distribute it for you to test and play with it. And yeah, this is the one that is going to replace Lightning. We have then Hope and Chocolina. So yeah, I hope you like it. And the reason that I changed Helen to humanoid is because these characters are set up to be humanoid, so we can share and retarget their animations. That is something that we are going to do next. Now for the weapon set and shields, I'm going to be using this pack I had way before, or long time ago, which is the NYFG weapon pack. And the reason for that is because, well, of course, it was created by the same person, so I'm pretty sure the pivot of the weapons and the shields are all in the right position. So since we're going to use the equipment component from ORK Framework, we need to make sure that the pivot is in the same place. Otherwise, if we switch weapons and the pivot is not the same, it will be placed in a wrong place. As well as because this other creator, ASGERR, created an icon pack for this set, as well as if I search by weapon effects, yeah, it created also a specific set of VFX, visual effects, for this pack. So that's what I'm going to be using, but of course they are already deprecated, so feel free to select the one you have, or buy new ones, or if you are comfortable to model or create the visual effects from your own, go ahead. So let me just well, I already imported those in the old project, so I will just drag and drop the complete folder into this new project. So to do so, I will select in this case the asset packs folder I created, and I'm going to drag and drop these assets here. I will pause the video because it's gonna take a little bit. Okay, so it took a little longer, but we have the weapon pack with the icons and the effects. The next asset that I want to import is from the scripts, our ORKConstantsGenerator, just to have a glimpse of the changes in the API. So let me just drag the script that we have in the other project into this editor folder. It's important to be in the editor folder, and right away that we can see that we have some errors. So let's double click to open the script in Visual Studio or your IDE of choice. And right away it's starting complaining that the ORK Framework namespace does not exist anymore, which is true. So let's just fix that by typing gaming is love.ork framework. Let's do the same here as well. That will fix these two errors. But you can see that it's not highlighted, or it's not it's like not highlighted, so probably this is not used anymore. So let's just remove it altogether. We're already in editor folder, so we might not need to check this if definition here, but anyways, let's move on. And the other error we have is ork asset helpers does not exist anymore, and actually how the ork is initialized now changed. So what we need to do is to call an parameterless method in this case. That will fix that. The next will be fixing this get names method from status value, status effects. So what is saying that the no overload method takes one argument. So let's just remove this false statement. From all these get names methods. Alright, that fixes most of them. The ones that are not fixed is because the equipment part is no longer exists anymore. So right now it's called equipment slots, if I'm not wrong. And we don't have any more weapons or armors, so we can remove these lines. The input keys are not longer called from ORK but from Machinum, so we need to actually add the namespace as well here. So let's copy this one, paste, and set it to Machinum, and then go back in the ORK. Instead of ORK, let's type Machi input keys. The colors settings is not longer or does not exist anymore, so let's remove this line and save the changes. Now that we don't have any errors, we can save the script and go back to Unity, let it compile if it still doesn't do it. And remember that we have access to this script from the edit button, then scroll down to the bottom and we have generate ORK constants. So click on that one. It will prompt you to select the folder. So let's choose our folder, scripts. I will choose game base and put it here and let it compile. And we get a null reference exception in this case. Let's check what is the error. And the reason for that is because I didn't have the editor open. So let's open up the editor, the ORK Framework editor or Machinum editor, and keep it open, and then we can try it again. Scripts, game, base, and now the script was generated, but that tells us that this check about if not ORK instantiated and then calling this method will not work. So I need to find a fix for that. But anyways, by having the editor open will let you create this ORK constant script again. Let me close this one, remove all the message errors, and let's check it out, our ORK constant script. So we can see that we have the stats from the demo project, we have the status effects, some abilities, equipment parts, and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's working now again. So let's move on now and replace the LN mesh with one of these that we have here. Okay, so to replace the Helen character mesh, we need to go to the tutorial assets and identify where in the prefabs we have combatants and we have this prefab alien variant. If we were to open this prefab, we can see it start actually with the mesh, so we cannot just replace here the actual mesh, but use it as guidance. So let's create a new prefab out of our character. Let's choose any of these. So let me go to the scene view and let's select one of these and press F to focus on the game object. I think I will choose this one, which is GARP3 in this case, and I will just drag and drop it to this prefab folder. So in this case I will create the original prefab. I will stick with my naming convention, so I will choose to set it to P as prefab, and let's call it garb. Let's call it electronica. Because of the yellow thing, I think it suits better. So now that we have this this prefab, we know that we have the animator. We can set the position to 0, so 0 out the transform, and let's check again the LM variant. So what we need a rigid body, we need a character controller, we need audio source, navigation mesh agent, damage zone, and this new component radius. So what we can do is to click in the rigid body component, copy, select our new prefab, and click on paste as new component. So it will retain whatever settings, configuration or settings it was before. I will do the same for the rest of the components. Okay, now let's check it out. So we have the character controller, and this is set up probably specific to the Helm mesh. So if I were to click again into the open prefab, and let me just hide the gizmos so we can see it better, and let me select the character controller once again. Probably just decrease the size to see the capsule. So what we need to do is tweak this kind of component to match our new mesh. Same thing for the nav mesh agent. The damage zone, it can be left as it is, it's in the root. And this radius, we can leave it as it is as well, but we probably have, as you can see here in the hand, we actually have this component head, and we might need to add this equipment or equipment slot. So if we were to click on this small gizmo, we go right away until our left hand attach game object where we have this equipment viewer. So we need to also copy this one to our new mesh. So let me do it. So let me just click on copy component. I see it's in the left hand, so let's select our prefab from electronica and select the left hand. This is the right one. Left wrist in this case. Create a new game object. I will rename it later on, and click on paste. There we go. We have the autosave checked, so I can safely switch back to LM variant. And let me rename or copy the name. I'm not sure if this name is used anywhere, so just to make sure, just copy the name as it is. We also need to copy later on the transform, but let me switch back to electronica. Let's paste the name. We can probably move this to the wrist, and let's go back to the Ellen variant once again, and let me copy, in this case, the attachment transform. So let me copy component, make sure we don't have anything else, and let's go back to Electronica, open Prefab here, and paste component values. I can see that of course it doesn't match what because of the pose is different. So what we can do here is select the equipment viewer, and let me see if we have the equipment preview settings here. So yes, let me select the staff, and it should pop somewhere else, somewhere. Preview prefab, and you can see that is totally wrong. So let's just fix the transform. Well, it doesn't need to be perfect, because we are not going to stick with this weapon, left-handed weapon. Remember that we are going to use a shield and the weapon is going to be on the right side. But for now we are sharing or retargeting the animation, so to keep more or less what Helen animation does. Afterwards we can save the changes and we can delete the prefab preview. Click save again, and we need to also add this head game object. So let's copy the transform, copy component, let's go back to Electronica, open prefab, make a new game object at the root level, call it head, and paste component values. So it should be, yeah, things right to me. And let's see how it goes. I think we have all the components needed. Hope so. So let's test it out. Okay, so close the prefab editor and let's go to our main scene. Then from here in the spawn point, I'm pretty sure there is a starter game object or schematic now somewhere, but let's go to the Gaming is Love Machinum editor. Let's go now to the combatants tab, and from here we can select another combatants section, and we have Ellen. So if we were to scroll down, we can see where the prefab settings are. So let's select our new prefab here. And let's start typing P Garb Electronica and save the settings. I will leave by now. I will keep the reference as it is, as they are. No bother to change those. We are using this game project as a starting point, so we are going to be modifying a lot of stuff. So let's close it up and hit play. Okay, so our character is spawned, the camera is looking at it, but we can see that I totally forgot about the animations. So let's stop play mode, go back to the prefabs folder, combatants, Alien variant, and we can see it's using the Alien animator controller. Click on it to show it in the project inspector, and what we need to do is go back to the prefabs and select our new character and select, in this case, Helen animator controller. Right, and click play again. And there we go, we have the animations which are retargeted to Humanoid. Of course, these animations are a little bit cartoony to my taste, but they're working. If I click space to roll, and now let's test attacking, and it's working. Okay, so let's click Ctrl P to stop play mode, and now let's continue on the next video setting up the structure for the battle system. I will actually jump right into the battle system instead of going through porting the minimap, the items, the looting and everything else, because the core of the game mechanic is about the battle system, the specific battle system in this Lightning Returns Final Fantasy. So I will jump right straight into it, and we'll add other game mechanics on the run, but focusing on the first of all and the battle system. So thank you for watching, and be patient.